Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pottery Corner, my studio down on the south coast of England near Chichester. Welcome back everybody. Today we're doing another Glaze Kiln fire opening and actually for a change there are some pieces of mine in the kiln. So the students are still ramping out the work. As you can see from the shelves behind me, there's almost a full biscuit load to go in. So we are still working our kilns hard. So let's crack on with it and dive in. The kiln was cold yesterday, so I'm happy that it's actually down to ambient temperature. So let's flick the switch. Are we all chorusing? Sneaky peeks have been had. So yes, I have had just the sneakiest of tiny sneaks on the top shelf. Of course, you can't see further than the top shelf, so it's only ever the top shelf that we get to have a sneaky peek at. Okay, so kiln lid up. First item out is a platter made by Lisa. Now Lisa's only been to one set of 4 classes and is now on her second set of 4 and has made this beautiful platter, which I just think is really lovely in its simplicity. So it's a slab built platter with some little feet on to lift it up off of the table or whatever you're putting it on. She's used one of the studio stamps with this lovely fern motif. And then the glazing on here, the green is copper oxide. So she's put copper oxide into the texture of the stamp and then wiped it back. And then over the top, this is Amaco ice. And it's just slightly blue. I'd say it's quite well named at ice because it's just off white with a blue tinge. So that is a really lovely platter, really simple but really effective and very well executed. So I'm sure that Lisa will be very pleased with that, as she certainly should be. Second item out. This is a berry bowl, slab built again over one of the plaster moulds that we have in the studio upstairs. So there is a video on the channel of how to make your own plaster hump moulds or indeed slip casting moulds as well. So have a look at that. I'll put a link on the end so that you can find that if you're interested. But this has been made using a slab over one of the plaster moulds, and then Kathy has made the holes in it to make it into a berry bowl. And again, it's just on 4 little bun feet. And the glaze on this one is Amaco Storm. Lovely, shiny, deep blue, beautiful Celadon glaze by Amaco. Beautiful. So that's a goodie. Next 2 items on this shelf are mine. How about that? That doesn't happen very often. So I'll just get rid of the cookies and bits and pieces that everything is sitting on. Bit of a strangely packed top shelf to get everything in. Right, so this is a throne bowl. I have made some of these before with the bird decal. That comes from Sambao. So it's a Sambao underglaze decal applied at greenware stage. So when the pot is still wet and hasn't been fired at all, I've put an underglaze decal on. And then the glaze combination on this one is, Amaco's Cobalt. And it's a really beautiful, deep, shiny blue. Love it. I use it quite a lot on my work. I think it's a really good Amaco colour. And inside is Amaco Fog. Again, it's another studio favourite. And on the rim, I've just popped a little bit of Adventurine. So again, an Amaco glaze called Adventurine. And it sort of makes the rim slightly more interesting than having just the 2 glazes meeting each other. And it makes for quite a nice bit of interest on the rim. So I quite like to put a separate glaze on my rims to make them slightly more interesting. So that's rather sweet with 2 little lovebirds in it. So I am currently making things for an art trail coming up in a few months' time. So as potters, you'll know that we have to kind of start early because it takes such a long time to make things through the process. Right, let's get that one out. Next, We did a hydrangea course and you'll have seen these before, and yes, I will get round to doing a video, but probably not until the summer. It's really a summer thing. But this is a porcelain hydrangea head, which has been made using porcelain. It's hand built, and it's to go on a cane in the garden, so you can just stick it on a cane in your plant pots. And this has been glazed and also has glass frit on the top, which is this lovely blue and green. I promise I will get round to doing a video on how to make that, but just not yet. It's quite a detailed one, so I'll need to do a bit of work for prep. But yes, so that's one of mine. Beautiful. And further down we'll get to the girls. So that one is mine on the top shelf. They need a lot of cookies and bits and pieces underneath them in the kiln, so there's always loads of bits of broken bisque and what have you holding them, so that the glass doesn't go all over the kiln shelves, because that's a bit of a disaster. Right, so we'll get this shelf out. Gently does it. Okie dokie. Put that over onto Midge. Okay, so next shelf down. Again, I'm just going to take the kiln props out. Okay, so as I was saying, the girls have made some hydrangea heads. This one is Fern's. Fern used some glass, as you can probably see on the top here, in this sort of purple colour, and then she's used Amaco mulberry and Amaco snow just on the edges of her hydrangea flowers, and actually it's really pretty, lovely. Like that combination, very pretty. So well done, Fern, that's lovely. Next one, let's have a look and see whose this one is. I think this one's Jane's. Yes, this one's Jane. So again, same theme. Jane has used the same sort of bluey combination of glass, blue and green combination of glass, and she's also spotted on a little bit of Amaco pear. This sort of acid green on the edge of the petals is Amaco pear. So again, same thing, bit smaller that one, very pretty. Right, and the next one, whose is this one? This one is Jane's again. So this one again is Jane's. Very pretty, very delicate, as you can see. Probably not as much colour on there as I have on mine. If I show you mine again, you can see that Jane's has not had quite so much glass on it. When I make them, I try to make them so that they have a pocket for the glass to go into. It's not always easy to do that, but there is some colour on the top of that. And again, a nice hydrangea head. And the last thing on this shelf is a large throne bowl, which I have made. Ooh, look at that, beautiful. And this will be going into the art trail later in the year. So this has been thrown on the wheel. It's combination of glazes. This obviously is Amaco's Cobalt again. I've used some of the vinyl stencils made by my friend, and I'll put the link to Karen's Etsy shop in the description below if you wanted to go and have a look. So I use the vinyl stencils on greenware, and then this blue is one of my studio slips. And again, there is a video on the channel about how to make your own slips using coloured pigments, so do have a look at that. It's really easy to do, and you can make your own custom made colours to whatever colour you want. And again, I've used Adventurine on the rim in the same way as I did on the little bird bowl. As I say, I just quite like the interest on the rim, but that's a beautiful bowl, very happy with that. And as I always say, you make something beautiful and you think, oh, I'll take that in the house, but I mustn't do that because I've got nothing ready yet for this art trail. So that will be going into the art trail. So I'm just going to take out again everything that everything is standing on. There's quite a lot of cookies and bits and pieces in this kiln. Okay, last shelf. Gently take that out. Pop it over there. Right, what have we got in here? Ooh, lovely. Right, okay. So we'll get the hydrangea heads out of the way. This must be Louise's. It is. Nice. That's quite blue, that one. So this is Louise's. And again, she's used just a tiny bit of the Amaco pear. That lovely, as I say, acid green. It really pops on these heads. We did have a couple that came off in the bisque firing. That happens if with porcelain it's quite difficult. So when the girls first use porcelain, we often find that one or two will drop off, but she's got them to stick back on. We've fired them separately. So that's really quite nice, really very blue, and actually quite nice with the blue on the edges. So yes, lovely, that's nice, Louise. And there is one more. I think this one might be Jane's, not sure. Yes, this is another one of Jane. So this one has a bit more glass in the centre, as you can see. And then the blue that she's used on here is Jess's, let me think, Lake Blue. Jess's Lake Blue. And then, as I say, again, another little bit of the pear, just picked out to highlight the flowers. So again, another one, beautiful. Very pretty. They look lovely in the garden. And of course, they're lovely as presents. I mean, imagine making a set of those for a friend. Beautiful. Right, this is the lid of a butter dish made by Kathy. So this is slab built, and she has used a henna bottle to create these beautiful dots in 3 different colours of studio slip. And then this has a dish that's upstairs. I forgot to bring it down. So this is the lid for Kathy's butter dish. Really pretty. Love the combination of the slip dots on there. And they are slightly raised, I hope you can see. So you've got almost like a braille of slip dots on the top. Great way of decorating something. Just looks great. So I know Kathy will be pleased with that. That's really pretty. Right, last 2 things, and both of which are mine. Again, that's stood on a cookie, which is just as well. I don't think it's going to come off without a knock. This is one of my little hand-built seed pods. We do this for the beginner students. So we start off kind of making seed pods, seed heads. There aren't, oh, there are some actually on the bisque, waiting for bisque firing. Sometimes they have tops on them, and sometimes we put fins on them. And this is one of mine. And the glaze combination on here is just completely gone out of my head. It's iron yellow, Amaco's iron yellow, 2 coats underneath Arctic blue. Now Arctic blue, as I've said before on kiln openings, Amaco's Arctic blue, it's a nasty, nasty glaze when it's used on its own. But actually when you use it in combination, it does come up with some pretty interesting variations in the colour. And actually that one's really pretty, and I like how it's broken off of the fins to almost leave the iron yellow untouched by the blue. So that's actually really very pretty. Quite like that one. So, you know, happy accident with Arctic blue. Quite nice. Very pretty. And the last thing in here again is another of my large throne bowls, which I do hope is in one piece, which it is in one piece, and rather beautifully in one piece. So this is, again, I've used studio slip and some carp vinyl stencils, again available from Karen's Etsy shop. And then I've used some slip dots, so the darker blue and the lighter blue are slip dots before the bisque firing. And then I've used Amaco's seaweed for the green dots, really very pretty. And then the back, again, I can't remember. I'm going to have to go and look in my glaze book. bear with me. So as if by magic, she reappears through the medium of editing with her glaze book. So this bowl, which is a carp bubble bowl, as I call them, has had the slip and the seaweed dots, which are the green ones, and then it's had Amaco's Glacier over the top, and then the outside is Sapphire Float over Blue Lagoon. So that's 2 coats of Sapphire Float with 2 coats of Blue Lagoon over the top. Lovely, lovely, lovely. That's a really good combination. I'm just going to have to clear up where the cookie has stuck on there. I quite like to glaze the inner foot ring. I think it just makes the piece a bit more professional, but I've been unlucky that a little bit of the cookie has stuck onto there, so I'll just need to Dremel that off. But a beautifully decorated and beautifully formed large bowl. So again, that will be finding its way to my art trail. Really happy with those. Both of those have been really successful. All right, so I'm just going to pop the kiln lid down and just bring you up to speed on a few little bits and pieces that have happened via the wonders of YouTube. And I must just say hello to one of my latest YouTube viewers, Claudine Appen, I know I've probably pronounced your name wrong, who is viewing from the Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. Now, here we go, geography lesson. Who knows where the Reunion Island is? Well, I didn't until I Googled it this morning, and it is next to Mauritius. It's a tiny little island next to Mauritius, and Mauritius is off the coast of Madagascar, and Madagascar is off the coast of Africa. How about that? Isn't that amazing that somebody is watching my videos in a remote location in the middle of the Indian Ocean? So Claudine, thank you for sending me a message. Great to hear from you, and fantastic that you're viewing all the way from over there. Let me know if you're viewing from a really fantastic location. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know where you are. My husband and I love our geography lesson first thing in the morning when we're checking the YouTube comments. So do let me know. Right, next is on monoprinting, and this is from Tracy Goins, who is viewing from Bastrop in Texas in the US. So she's watched the monoprinting tutorials, and again, if you haven't seen those, there is a playlist of monoprinting tutorials, so do go and have a catch up on those. She made a little mug for her sister that has her grandson's handprint on it. Isn't that so cute? So here's the cup with the monoprinting on, and you can clearly see the handprint in the clay, which I just love. Isn't that a lovely memento for a grandmother to have that on there? So really well done, Tracy, that's gorgeous. And also I love the texture that she's got on the cup as well. So she's obviously used some netting of some description and probably some sort of stencil or maybe some lace perhaps. So well done, Tracy. As I say, what a lovely thing. What a lovely thing to be able to keep. That's beautiful. So thank you for sending me that, and thank you for your appreciation of the tutorial. And this one I love, 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 love. So this is from Heidi Dirksen. Hello, Heidi. Heidi bought a Wonky Pot template from my Etsy shop not very long ago, a couple of weeks ago. And Heidi is in Dunville in Canada. So hello, Heidi. And then she sent me, because I asked her to send me some pictures of what she was doing. So she says, this is the start of our Wonky Pots. My Down syndrome client is going to make the feet, eyes and tail for her cat pot, like her cat at home. So we have the Wonky Pot in its various stages of make. And then the next day, she sent me this, and I just love this. Look at this lovely Wonky. Look at that, what a brilliant idea to make it into a cat with ears. I love that. I just love the way that people take the Wonky Pot template and they make the pot their own. So there is, as I say, there's a Wonky Pot template available via the Etsy shop. There's also a playlist, if you look in the playlist, you'll find the Wonky Pot tutorial so that you can follow along and make your own. and then put your own personality on it. How great is that? I think her client should be utterly proud of herself to have made that. I just love it. So I've asked Heidi to send me a picture of that when it's finished and glazed, so that we can see it once it's actually through the firing processes. But well done, Heidi. Thank you so much for the messages. It means a lot to me. I just love to be able to see how you're all doing at home. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can do so via my own website, which the link for the website is in the description below. So just drop me an email via the website and send me pictures of what you're doing. Very happy always to hear from you. Right, so that's your lot today. Always stuff going on here, always exhibitions to be doing work for, always courses going on which are absolutely full to bursting, and just loving sharing our journey in clay. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Great to see you. See you all on the next one. Bye for now.